Hi, my name is V. Paul with Health Sciences Classroom Services, and today I'm giving a tour about our ALC number 2 classroom. It is our divisible classroom that has a traditional video conferencing unit installed for distance learning. Now, we are currently standing on the second floor of the HSEC building of the new project, and you can see that outside the classroom there are some student seating areas, as well as one of our 16-seat capacity seminars right here. That's the stairwell that takes you up to third floor that overlooks Harvard and Delaware. And if you were to look down this corridor this way, that takes you to the Gopher Way on second floor, ending at Freshie. That connects you to the rest of PWB and then on to Moose or Deal. So we're going to go into this classroom here. Okay, so here we are in ALC number 2. This is the divisible classroom. It's got two halves. HSEC 2132 is where we're standing right now. Next door is HSEC 2138. And in each half, we've got a teacher's station as well as 8 student pods. And the pods seat 9 students. And as you'll notice that there are multiple displays. This room has a projection display as its main focal point. But at each pod, you've got a screen for video, the video content. That's the people channel where students in this class could see folks from the far side. And then the lower screen, the lower monitor, is the slide content. That's content that's being presented on the main screen would show up here locally for the students to work on, or they could show their own content to these screens themselves. And so if we were to talk about these pods, you'll notice right away there are 3 microphones and 3 cameras. If a student were to push to talk on one of these microphones, one of the cameras would find them and broadcast their image to the far side so that people could see and engage with whoever is speaking in this classroom. As well, there is an HDMI cable, so students at these pods can connect their laptops via wired cable. They would need to bring an HDMI adapter if they don't have an HDMI output on their device. But more importantly, each pod has a Solstice wireless presentation device. What that means is a student with a laptop or a tablet or a mobile device could connect to the Solstice presentation device wirelessly over the internet here in this room and show content to the screens, show content to the main screen if they wanted to. They could have 2 at a time, they could have 4 at a time if they're comparing content. They could go one after another if the professor is moderating who's presenting. So one of the great things about that is this room can easily accommodate collaboration between the students by showing their content to the displays fairly easily. Now, if we were to come here to this particular teacher station, I did want to point out right away, we've got a computer at the station, so an instructor doesn't have to bring a device if they don't want to. But as well, there's an HDMI cable to connect to via wired connection. Again, bring an HDMI adapter if you don't have one. And as I already stated, there's a Solstice presentation device in this room. So an instructor could connect from a laptop, tablet, mobile device and show content wirelessly to this screen or to any of these screens here. You'll notice that there is a touch panel in this room. The touch panel controls the AV for this room. Simply touch a source on that panel and it turns the whole system on. This room is a traditional video conferencing room. That means it uses a Cisco codec in order to connect to another video conferencing room on another campus or at another building. But also, this room is Zoom capable, meaning using the video conferencing codec, you could connect to a Zoom session, you could host a Zoom session, you could start an impromptu Zoom session. It's all up to you. Now here we are in HSEC 2138. I'm going to actually fire up the system now so you can see what that looks like. I've touched the button that says Room PC, and so that's going to turn on the system. And what you should see happening right now is all the screens are coming on here. And you'll see again, as I mentioned, the top screen is people channel. So the camera feed from this room is on that top screen. If we were connected to another classroom, we would see that other classroom on the top screen. And the bottom screen right now is showing an M because we don't have that room PC turned on at the moment. But if there were slides, that would show up here. And then as you see, we've got the slides showing up on the main screen. I did want to sort of just walk you around the room so you could take a look at what vantage points might be from a student perspective. So a student sitting at this station has 2 screens here to look at the content that they need to, as well as a good sight lines for the main screen. And if we were to come back here, you can see right away that there is a camera up on that wall. That is the instructor camera. And then down on the far wall up front, that is what we call the student camera. Now, if this room was not in a full class mode, a student would be able to hit a button at this station just to turn on this pod's AV. So students working in groups, if they're not having to do anything all together as one class, they're just doing their own work at their tables, they can certainly get that done here. So here we are at the instructor station for HSEC 2138. And what I wanted to point out from here is that this classroom has classroom recording built in. So an instructor or an admin would request of our office to schedule the recorder here to record every single session of this particular class. And it would start and stop at the time that they set for us. And we would then publish from our recorder to the Canvas course site or to the instructor's account in MediaSpace once the recording was done. Now, if an instructor did not make that request of us, or the event or the class is going to be starting in too short of a time frame for us to be able to program the recorder, they could, from this station, manually start a recording and put in their email address, put in the title, and then give their lecture, and then stop the recording, and it would publish to their MediaSpace account using the email address that they provide. Now, right now we are in video conferencing mode in this particular classroom, and so also an instructor would be able to connect to a far side if they wanted to, disconnect, change the rooms that they're connecting to, or change the Zoom that they're connecting to. But we do have a student station located here so that a student operator could manage this on behalf of an instructor. A student that would be seated in that side, in that corner, would be able to manage the video conferencing unit, manage the AV in the room on behalf of an instructor. And finally, there's also a control booth for this classroom so that a technician could be in that room moderating or managing the AV on behalf of someone who's speaking in an event or teaching a course. So I've already mentioned that this is a divisible classroom. Here on the HSEC 2138 side, it seats 72. On 2132 side, that's another 72. So when the wall is open and the room is combined, this is a 144 seat classroom. Now, if you wanted this wall opened or closed, our office would manage that for you. That would be part of your room request. And it takes 2 people to actually manage this motorized wall safely. And you'll see that it just comes right down, right between the podiums, or the pods, the student pods on either side. And finally, I just wanted to give you a perspective from the student station here in the back of 2132. So student seating here would be able to see content on the far projection screen fairly clearly, would be able to see content on the screen right here at the pod, see folks that they're connected to at the top screen. They have access to the microphones, they have access to sharing content as needed. So I hope you found this tour useful to you. Again, my name is Vipal of Health Sciences Classroom Services. If you've got any questions at all, please let us know, and we're looking forward to supporting your courses in this room and any events that you can imagine. Thanks very much.